Hello and a very good day. So today we will learn on formulas such as unique formula, filter formula and sort formula. So let's get started. So now if you look over here, we do have a data whereby we do have food category, food details and the price of each food of a restaurant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the unique formula. If you look over here, we do have multiple tom yums, multiple nasi goreng and multiple of miniman. So now if just say I want to remove duplicates without using the removing duplicates feature, I want to use the unique formula to create the unique data. So how to do it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor over here. I put here equal unique. Once I go to unique, so this unique function of formula returns the unique values from a particular range or a particular area. So now if you look here, we do have multiple tom yum, nasi goreng and minuman. So if just say I press tab and I select all these and I press close bracket, so it will give us the unique data. Okay, so now the next thing what I'm going to do is I want to create a data validation drop down list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor over here and then I go to data, the data ribbon, and I click on data validation. So once I click on this icon, you will notice that a box will appear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click list and the source, I want to choose this source over here and I press OK. So based on this given data, we can actually choose a source. Okay, the next thing what I'm going to do is I want to teach on filter formula. So what is filter formula? Okay, so let me go over here, like how we can actually, as you can see, how we can do sort and filter. We can also use filter function or filter formula to filter the data, meaning to say by using filter formula we can actually filter a particular array. For example, I want to select all these and then I press comma and then is include. So if just say I include this data must be filtered according to this value over here. And then what I'm going to do is I press close bracket and I press enter. So now if you notice carefully, if just say I click here nasi goreng, so you will notice that there are multiple nasi goreng food over here. If just say I click tom yum, we do have a tom yum data. So if just say I want minuman, we have the minuman data. Okay, but never mind, let me repeat again so that everybody can understand how I did this. Okay, so if you look here carefully, we do have this database. So what I want to do is I want to create a unique data so that I want to create a drop downs from this given unique list. So I put my cursor over here equal unique. So unique is a formula whereby it will give the unique value based on a given data. So I'm going to select this array or range and I press close bracket and enter. Then what is the next step? The next step is I put my cursor over here and then I go to data, I click data validation. Why I choose data validation? Because I want to create a drop down list. So I just click this and then I go to allow, I choose list and then the source, I click this area over here and then I press OK. So now I can create a drop down list based on this given data. So what's the next thing? The next thing I use is I use filter formula, meaning to say if just say I put here nasi goreng, it shows the database of nasi goreng. So how I do it is equal filter and then the array. So this is the array I want and then I put include. So basically this area, if this array is equals to this area over here, then it will be nasi goreng. Okay, so let me just auto fit. So here is the data. But if just say I choose here tom yum, so we do have tom yum data over here. And if just say I click here minuman, then we do have minuman data over here. But if just say Alan, okay, so there's a question. Alan, how if I want to have all the data? Okay, have all the data, meaning to say something like clear filter. That means like now if just say I select tom yum, it shows me tom yum, but I want all to appear. So this is where we will use the if and filter formula. So meaning to say what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here equal if. Okay, so once I put equal, as you know, if is a formula whereby it returns true and false. So before I go to if, I need to create a data over here. Let me put here overall food and beverages. Okay, so let me just auto feed, and then what I'm going to do is I want to go to the data validation, and this data over here, so instead of 5 I put 6 so that it extends to row number 6, and I press OK. So now you'll notice we do have an extra list over here. So now the thing is, if I click overall food and beverages, it shows me the entire data. So how I do is I press here equal if. Alright, so the logic test is if this data is equals to this data over here, then I select this entire list. Otherwise, I will choose the filter function, and then I select this array, and then this array must have this data over here equivalent to this data over here, close bracket, enter. So meaning to say, now if just say I click tom yum, it shows us tom yum data. But if just say I click here nasi goreng, it shows us nasi goreng. And if just say I want overall food and beverages, so this is the data. So let me repeat again so that everybody can understand. So equal if. So we all know if is either true or false. So what I do is I select this data. If this data is equals to this data over here, what I do is I highlight all this array. All this array must appear. Otherwise, it must filter according to the drop down list, so that this filter array will be filtered according to this list when the list here is equivalent to this data over here. So I'm going to close bracket, enter. So this is the data. So if you want to jot down the formula, so this is the formula. Let me show you. There you go. Alright, so this is the formula of the data. Alright, so now if you notice, this is the data. But just say there is a question. Alan, what if just say I want to sort the data? If you look over here, this data is not sorted properly. In the sense of, if just say I want to sort the data from the most expensive price to the cheapest price. How I do that? So this is where I use the sort formula. So I go here, SORT. So this one is a function or is a formula that sorts the data. I click this, so we have an array. So this is the array, and then I want to sort which column. So if you look here, there are two columns. So I'm going to choose column number 2, and then which one I want to choose, ascending or descending. So I put here -1 for descending, close bracket, enter. So meaning to say, now we have arranged the data from the expensive price to the cheapest price. So meaning to say, if just say I click here minuman, so now we do have the most expensive minuman to the cheapest minuman. But if just say I click here nasi goreng, we have the most expensive nasi goreng to the cheapest nasi goreng. So this is how we can actually sort the database using sort formula and filter formula.